Hi, this is Mark from Chakra, and you listen to Focus on Metal.
Hey Metalheads, Scott here.
Richie.
Welcoming you to yet another episode of Focus on Metal. Got an interesting one this week as we've had, producers and artists and all directing, all kinds of people on the show, but we've never had an actual road crew guy, unless you count me doing sound company and local crew. So technically, yeah. But I guess we could actually make this a little more finite. We've never had an artist liaison on the show.
Yes, we have never had an artist liaison.
And it's interesting because, in the interview, you're talking to him and, he has this whole thing about, he got paid to hang out with rock stars. And I'm thinking to myself, that was like one of those jobs I just never wanted to have, was to be the artist liaison. It's almost like you're captive.
I think in a lot, there's another term that he even uses himself as a runner.
Yep.
At times. He's the guy that runs and gets stuff.
Yep.
Anything.
Yep.
And he gets into the anythings.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely, and granted, here, Boston area, like a lot of places around the country too, this is, there's most of the halls and everything are union. So there's definitely halls you kind of get shut out of working on. Yeah. I was happier humping things in and rigging lights and doing all kinds of other things, and like running, nope, didn't want to do that. I was happier also because everything else I was doing was more on the technical side too, where that isn't. And it's just, I just was like, again, it's like you're captive, and it's not like he had a pretty decent experience overall, which was great. But sometimes you saw people that would just get treated like shit as well, which is like, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Then there's a bit of that too,
But I mean, it is interesting, and it can definitely be hard work. And I used to tell anybody too that was new, it was like, especially local crew guys, I would always tell them, first thing tomorrow morning when the bank's open, get there and cash your check that morning. And this was, before ATMs and stuff, but it was always get there, because guaranteed, if you're one of the last guys, more than likely the money's not going to be there anymore. Like, it's going to run out. So get there first thing in the morning or you're probably going to be screwed. Because I know lots of people that, they would do like a gig, especially if it was like the last show of a run, and you get to the bank the next day and it was like, no, there's no money. No. Like,
yeah, but you got to hang around with rock stars.
Oh yeah. Great.
So there's your reward.
But interesting. So you talked to Wendell Smith. That was very good because I could remember his name because it was easy. It was interesting. Just as kind of like an old school guy, and like a large variety of people that he got to work with as well. And it was interesting because he talks about like 38 Special, which I worked for them on their Tour de Force tour. And they were actually a great band to work with. They were really good. They gave my buddy Jeff at the time, they gave him all their drum heads, like brand new oil-filled heads that had been used for one show, the show before that. And it was like, yeah, here you go. And for years, he played those heads for years.
And now what do the bands do with them? They sell them.
They do, yeah. But then it was a case of play it, and oh, great, we got someone who knows how to do, change out heads and all that stuff. Great. Okay, hey, go ahead and do that, and you can have all the old ones. Great, I'll do it. So, that was hell yeah. He probably still has them. He hasn't used them anymore, but yeah, he used them for years. He used those heads.
I remember years ago, when I was going to gigs, 16, 17, 18, we're all kids. This roadie'd walk up on stage and go with the guitar. I look back on it now and I'm like, what a fucking idiots we were. But this was unusual as well because Wendell reached out to me. He sent me a message. He's on the Facebook page as a commenter all the time. He comments on a lot of things.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And he reached out to me, sent me a message saying, I was in the business for years. I worked many years in the House of Blues in Florida. I've got a lot of stories.
Yeah.
So this was before Christmas, and so I hit him up and I asked him did he want to come on and talk about it, because I'm always interested in this is not unusual, but when you look at the guests that we have on the show, it's different.
Yeah.
I always want the different.
Yeah.
To bring a new perspective to it, and what his side of the business and what he did. It's always fascinated me because, and I even said it to him in the interview, I always want to know who the pricks are, and who treated you like shit.
Earl Slick.
Yeah. and we get into that. I didn't interview him for over 2 months. I personal life, work, the usual shit.
Oh yeah, a lot of shit going on.
And I kept saying, look, and I think I rescheduled it once or twice. I was scheduled to talk to him on a Friday night and something came up and I couldn't do it. And then I rescheduled again. And then I said, listen, I will call. And I did. And I spent about an hour and a half on the phone with him. And the other thing that was unusual about this, I knew nothing about him.
Yeah.
Nothing. I couldn't research anything about the guy.
Yeah.
And you can probably tell in the interview, like the way I talked to him a little bit about certain bands. What about this band? Did they come through? Like, I didn't know. So he'd go somewhere and then I'd run with it. I had some general questions I wanted to ask him, but really nice guy. Another one of these guys that had the idea that I want to get involved in the business. I know I'm not a musician. I know I'm not going to make it that way, but there's other ways I can be in it and get my kicks out of it. And that was the way he was able to do it. Yeah. And he had for the most part, he had a great time doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the thing too is, I mean, with the House of Blues too, that's, it's a smaller venue too, because definitely if you're working the bigger venues, a lot of times, being a runner is actually a lot more involved too, especially like some of the big outdoor sheds and stuff like that. But yeah, again, I was like, God, I would not want to have been a runner. I was happier with anything else they asked me to do besides that. Well,
the one thing about doing that job, in my opinion, you never really know what's going to happen from one day to the next, because everybody's different. Mm-hmm. Like, if you go into your normal job, you have a fair idea what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, yeah. But with being a runner, you've got different bands coming through, have different needs.
You do. Yep.
Different egos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And you're dealing with all of that. Like,
right.
If you're in your job, for the most part, it's a controlled environment. Everyone who's around you. You work with them every day in, day out. Yeah. When you're dealing with bands coming through, it's it is,
and depending on the level, and it can be different, and it can be different every day. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even just for the other stuff too, because you don't know, how much stuff you're going to hang. Are they prepared for things? It's that can be different too.
Yeah. So it's just different.
Yeah.
I don't normally get hit up by people who either listen to the show or are on the Facebook page about things like this. But I said, come on, let's chat.
Yeah.
And he did.
All right. And what do you say we listen to it?
Yeah.
Hello.
Is that Wendell?
Yes.
It's Richie. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Don't be nervous. This is not an interview.
Okay. Sure.
This is going to be interesting because normally with people I have on, I can research them and I know something about their music and whatever. With you, I don't know anything. So it's going to be all I have to go on is you said that you were a sound engineer and an artist liaison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So which one was first?
Well, I started out running sounds for like local bands up around Charlotte, and I ended up moving to Myrtle Beach. And found out that House of Blues was going to open up in '97. So in Charlotte, I worked at a little tiny club and just like running people around and getting them this and getting them that. Nothing really official. But I ended up turning that into an actual job at House of Blues. And in the industry, they mostly call him the runner. That's the one that you go get this and go get that. And but I basically, just as a joke at first, created my own job title. I called myself the artist liaison, and actually it stuck. So that's what it became.
Okay. So so you went to college and did sound, or was it something you did on the side that you just picked up from people?
Well, there was a couple of courses at the local community college that myself and one of my buddies took, and we just kind of learned the basics there. And once we started doing it, we basically learned it on our own.
Okay. Okay. So how do you end up then getting a job in a club? Because they'd have to test you, right? You can't just walk in and say, look, I've done this course, give me a job, kind of a thing. Like, you have to have a leg up. Someone's got to give you a chance.
Well, and the one place it was I was working at a place called Kidnappers in Charlotte. I worked the door and took tickets. So that's basically how I got in with them. And I learned all the ins and outs of the production, the stage production stuff, just by watching it, and ended up, helping out, and that's really how it started.
Okay. So what's the first big band, name band that you did sound for?
Let's see. It's got to be 38 Special.
Okay. And when was that, in Myrtle Beach?
No, that was at the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
That was in 85.
85. Wow.
85.
Right, you're going way back then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I told you I'm a dinosaur.
So tell me, back then in 85 when you started, who was the guy in the band, or was it the tour manager who would be coming to you with, this is what we want, these are what levels we want? Was it always nearly one guy that did it?
It was, mostly the stage manager took care of that.
Okay.
And what they would do, they would give you a list of things that they need for the day. Like, the drummer might need new drumsticks or drum heads, or it could be anything, and anything from to like catering stuff for their buses.
Okay.
So it was pretty much, it was on a busy day, I'd be at Walmart for like 2 or 3 hours.
Really?
It could be, like I said, it could be just getting anything. And it also included like picking up the bus drivers, at the end of the night, making sure they get back to the show to get to, pick them up. And it could just be anything.
Okay. And how much interactions back then would you have with any of the band members, if at all?
Oh, a lot, because I was right there with them, and they would, some of them, personally, hey, man, when you're going out, would you give me this? Would you give me that? So, I met pretty much everybody.
Okay. And did it get to the stage over the years where the band would come back and they'd remember who you were?
Oh, lots of times, yeah, definitely. And there's even a few times where they would have what they call the rider. And what that is, they send a list ahead of time to the venue that they're playing in, things that they need. Like, they sometimes, they don't travel with all their gear, so they don't need a keyboard or, just something for the stage. And stuff like that. And there'd be times when they would list, specifically that they wanted me there to take care of them.
Wow.
That was a pretty good ego boost.
I'm sure, yeah. If they're asking for you, you've obviously done something right in the past.
At least, and it made me look good to the corporate too. So one of the coolest things that ever happened was the first week we were open, we had the Beach Boys, and those guys are legends. The Beach Boys, that's just they're gonna be remembered forever. And I drove around back there, back and forth from the venue to the hotel for my sound check, and after the show and all that. And the next day, I just moved down there, so I was still staying at my mom's house. And anyway, the next day I'd come home from somewhere, and my mom said, "You're not going to believe who called you today looking for you." And it turned out it was Mike Love, the lead singer of the Beach Boys, called me personally to tell me thank you for taking care of him.
Wow.
I was like, that's what I said, wow.
Because sometimes you think, right, these bands all have big egos, and I'm not saying
I didn't do that too.
yeah, I'm not saying you guys are, beneath them or anything like that, but they're going to all these venues, they're in and out and all that, and sometimes it's like, okay, it's the same every day, more or less, same routine and all that.
Right.
It's kind of a blur to them. And the fact that they go out of their way to do that, because they're in and out. Like, they don't really have to do that.
No. But I mean, I've done pretty much the whole East Coast, the club circuit back in the day. And we traveled in a conversion van, and we had a little tiny mini school bus with the ramp back for our equipment truck. And we played a bunch of clubs on the East Coast, and you can get burned out. It's a hard life.
Okay. Wendell, can I call you back? The line is kind of breaking up a little bit.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to hang up and I'll call you back in about 10 seconds, okay?
Sure, no problem.
All right, thanks.
And in the words of AC/DC, we roll tonight to the guitar bite. And for those about to rock, I salute you.
Hello again.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Oh, you got it now?
Yeah,
okay.
I hope it's better on your end.
No, I hear you fine.
Okay. So one of the questions I have is, you're being asked to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably deep down thinking, right, I don't think you'll be able to pull it off, but I'm asking you anyway. And you're able to pull it off. Is there anything like that stands out?
Yeah, actually there is. There was the band called the Deftones. Yeah. And the bass player asked me for a vegetable steamer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's not a rice cooker, it's a vegetable steamer. He said they're two different things. And I'm thinking, okay, no big deal. I'll go to Walmart and I probably had 10 of them. I ended up searching the whole area of Myrtle Beach for this thing. And it got to the point where it became a quest. Because, I was all puffed up. Oh, I got you, no problem. No, I got that for you, no problem. I'll be back in a little while. And it took me half the day. And finally, after phone call after phone call and phone call, I finally found this thing and brought it back. And he was like, thank God. He said, finally, somebody got it right.
Wow.
So it was, I miss it dearly. I really do. Actually, I'm in the process of writing a book.
Oh, nice.
About my exploits.
Nice. How's that going?
Well, I mean, it's mostly in my head right now. I've got a few. I'm doing it the old school way. I'm writing it down in a notebook.
Yeah.
I'm a dinosaur. I don't use all the technology on the internet. No, I mean, it's over my head. I'm such a dinosaur. But I am starting to write a book about my experiences in the industry. Because let me tell you this one. My first concert ever. I was 11 years old, and it was Elvis.
Wow.
It was like months before he died, and I went with my mom, and I remember we were right up close because one of our neighbors worked for the promoter at the old Coliseum, and he got us really good tickets. So anyway, I remember watching all the stage guys running around, and it just completely fascinated me. I'm just enthralled by all this stuff going on, all these guys running around on the stage. And at 11 years old, I looked at my mom and I said, when I grow up, that's what I'm going to do. And my mom's like, oh, yeah, whatever, be in a band. No, I said, no. I said, but I'm going to be part of that. Okay, now flash forward 20-some years when I'm working at House of Blues. Lisa Marie, his daughter, played a show there. And I got to pick her up and take her to the show and, back to her venue, back to her hotel, rather. And I told her that little story. Then I said, your dad basically shaped the course of my life. And she actually almost teared up over that. She said, oh, that's really sweet. So it was cool that, I never got to tell him that, but it almost came full circle because I got to tell his daughter that story.
Wow.
That still means a lot to me. That night, yeah.
Can you remember the first metal or hard rock concert you went to?
Oh, absolutely. February of 82, my best friend and I went to see Black Sabbath.
82, that would have been Ronnie.
It was the Mob Rules tour.
Wow, you lucky bastard.
Oh, he was, and I'm telling you what, now we had Ronnie at House of Blues, and I'm telling you what, that man was a true gentleman. He was absolutely amazing. I mean, he stood out there and he signed, after the show was over, they have, in the back where the buses park, they have the parking lot like roped off, and people come out there and stand, and, hope to get autographs and some pictures and whatnot. And I swear to you, because I was standing right there with him the whole time, this man stood in the back over an hour signing autographs for people. If somebody handed him 10 CDs, he signed every one of them.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. And the only time I ever became very, very close to being starstruck was with Willie Nelson.
Okay.
When he came, and I just happened to be standing. It was weird because I just happened to be standing by the one backstage door when his car came in, and he walked in and stopped, and I told him, Mr. Nelson, yes, we're honored to have you here. I said, if there's anything you need, here's my card. Let me know. And he shook my hand and said, thank you, I appreciate it. And he always called me Willie, and then he talked to me for a minute, and he walked around the corner and walked up on the stage and met every single person on our stage crew and shook their hand.
I love hearing stories like that.
I mean, Willie Nelson, that man is a living legend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that was amazing talking to him.
When you're doing sound, right, and you're doing a lot of it, can you go to another concert and enjoy the concert without thinking, I wonder what the sound guy is doing and how he's getting that sound, that kind of a thing?
No, I can't. And that's no. I mean, I have had my friends so mad at me because of that very thing. That's funny that you brought that up because I was sitting there picking it apart, and like, shut up and watch your show. I have been a victim of that very thing many times.
Okay. All right, then so that leads on to my next question.
Okay.
What's the worst sounding concert you've ever went to?
Rat.
Wow, you came up with that answer pretty quick.
Rat. They sounded horrible that night. I don't know what happened, but it was awful.
Where was it?
That was in Charlotte.
Okay.
It's Old Coliseum in Charlotte.
So that's when in the 80s.
That was that had to be 80s. Well, I was in high school, so 83, 84, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure.
That's when they were big.
Yeah, and the only reason we went was because Cheap Trick, for whatever reason, opened for him.
Okay.
That's a strange combination to me, but that's who Cheap Trick opened for Rat.
Do you think that there are venues that it doesn't matter what you tweak, the sound is just shit anyway?
Well, yeah, for sure, because of the way that places are built. It's because I've had a battle trying to get things right because of, and a lot of, like, if you play little clubs, a lot of them have like old neon, and neon messes with the sound system really bad.
Yeah, really bad isn't even really the right way to put it. It downright just sucks. If you remember that scene in Spinal Tap where they're playing the Air Force Base and the radio comes in over all their amps, like, I've had those kind of gigs where AM radio is coming through my amp, and it's all because of all the neon that was near us. So, yeah, I totally agree with Wendell that, neon sound systems, not a good combo.
All right.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, outdoor venues are another nightmare, I'd say, because of the weather and the wind, and you just can't control that.
No, you can't. You just have to sit there and hope everything goes right.
Okay. Have you ever been to a concert and it's just too loud?
No, because I love it loud. I can't say no on that one. The loudest show I ever saw was Motorhead.
I'm not shocked.
That is the loudest show, and we had them in Myrtle Beach at House of Blues.
Okay, so you're doing sound for Motorhead.
No. When I worked there, I was the artist liaison at House of Blues.
Okay.
I only did sound like with local bands. This is before House of Blues.
Ah, gotcha.
So.
All right. So tell me, you're doing artist liaison with Motorhead. Which of the guys? When was this? When are we talking? The 2000s? 90s?
Yeah, it might have been maybe 98, 99.
I'm trying to think. So that would have been Phil Lemmy, and was Mickey D in the band then?
He was, because I still have a drumstick that he gave me.
Okay, so who in Motorhead did you get to meet?
I talked to Lenny.
Okay.
Oh yeah, nice guy.
Yeah.
We had one of my favorite experiences was we had Jethro Tull.
Okay.
And I had to pick Ian and Anderson up, Ian and his road manager up at the airport. So I'm standing there waiting on them to come off the plane. And I see him coming, and so I walk over to him, told him who I was. I said, I'm ready to pick you up. And Ian goes, all right, man, Dad. He said, I played flute. And I said, I'm well aware of that, Mr. Henderson.
So tell me about. I'm going to pick your brain again.
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
Tell me about the guys that you met, and I'm not saying they were jerks, but they were just hard to deal with.
Eddie Van Halen was just obnoxious.
Okay.
I call it rockstar-itis. That's what I call it. Just demanding and just bad mood and just difficult to deal with. He was one. Joe Satriani was another one. Let's see who else. I'm trying to remember my bad list.
I'm gonna ask you about those two specifically, and then you can mention more.
Okay.
Were both of them for the same reason or for two different reasons?
What it was, I went upstairs. I was going to the production office for something, and I had to pass right by the main dressing room door. And Eddie was standing in the doorway, and I just kind of looked, kind of nodded, and he gave me this go to hell look, and literally slammed the door. I'm like, okay.
When was this, Wendell? Can you remember?
Oh, early 90s. No, not early 90s. This was, had to be 98, 99, maybe 2000 when they were there.
Who was in the band?
That was with Sammy.
Okay, was that the tour that he was drinking a lot on?
Yeah, it was.
That's probably explains a lot of it then.
Well, I'll tell you, I really interacted with Sammy a lot, and Sammy to me was a really, really nice guy.
I believe Michael Anthony is a really nice guy too.
He absolutely was.
And what about Alex? Did you meet him?
He was polite, but that's really about it.
Okay.
Alex was polite. Hi, how are you? And that's really all I said to him.
Now, right, Joe Satriani. Now, I think I've interviewed him once, and you had a bad run in with him.
Yeah, they just wanted so much stuff. They were mad because there was only one runner, and it was a rough day.
Okay, was that when he was solo or with Chickenfoot?
No, that was solo.
Okay.
And I mean, he's an incredible artist. I mean, he's amazing.
Okay.
But I mean, everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
So you just have to just let it roll off your back and deal with it.
Okay. So any other names? You've given me guitarists now. It can't all be guitarists.
So let's see. As far as artists.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think who I had bad experience. I really didn't have many bad experiences with them. Most of the time, I had problems with the demanding crew. Most of the time the artists were fine. Most of the time, the problems I had were with the crew.
What they had a sense of entitlement.
Just asking for all kind of ridiculous, stuff, just because they can.
Name something ridiculous.
Okay. I'll tell you one. There's one artist, they wanted 1.5 liter bottles of water. Okay? Mm-hmm. They didn't care what brand, nothing like that, but they had to be 1.5 liter bottles of water. I searched, and I never did find any of them that were 1.5. And they were all bent out of shape. But there was nothing I could do. I could not find them. And then I finally found out the reason behind why they wanted them, because that was the only size that fit in the cup holder on the bus. And I'm like, please, really? I searched the entire town. That's why. So I was not happy about that at all.
Yeah, but the bus has got nothing to do with you. You're the venue.
Pardon?
You're the venue.
Right.
That's the tour manager's job would be the bus, wouldn't it?
I'm sorry?
The tour manager's job would be the bus.
Well, no, because they give the list to me of stuff that they need for the buses.
Ah, okay.
See?
Okay.
What they do is they give me money. They give me cash most of the time. Well, yeah, they give me cash, and they give me a list. Here's what we need. And at the end, whenever I'm done, whenever they decide that's all they need for the day, I'll meet with the tour manager up in the office and give him the rest of the money back, and all the receipts and everything adds up, and we're all good.
Okay.
That was basically my job. But in between there, if somebody wanted to go somewhere, like Sammy Hagar, for example, right next door to House of Blues is a place called Alligator Adventure. It's like a little zoo, and it's, they have a bunch of alligators and a bunch of different reptiles and all that. And his mother coincidentally was in town, so they wanted to go over to check out the little zoo next door. So I was asked to go walk over there with him and just be with him and show him around over there.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, when it all boils down to it, and I'm not trying to sound like it's an egotistical thing, but when it all boils down to it, I got paid to hang out with rock stars.
Were you a guy that got autographs?
No, I collected guitar picks.
Okay, pictures?
A few, every now and then. See, while I was working in the house, we weren't allowed to ask for autographs or pictures or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get into all that. To me, that's a fan thing. I was trying to be more professional than that.
Yeah.
Around them.
Yeah, they're probably thinking they're dealing enough with that, and you're
they
here.
They do. Exactly.
They want a different relationship. They don't want someone coming up saying, "I love everything you do," and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool to have bands come in there that back in the day I paid to go see.
That's if they still had all the members with them, though, because a lot of the bands went the further on, they'd have less and less of the original lineup.
That's true. Yep, that's very true.
Yeah. Did you ever have a singer come in and the singer was just really sick, and they still did the show?
Yeah, I do remember one. As a matter of fact, it was a long time ago. It was the first few months we were open in '97. Fiona Apple came in, and I believe she said she was having something was wrong with her eye. She had something wrong with her eye. I can't remember what it was, and she was just feeling like hell. But she did her show anyway.
Okay. So tell me, we've already talked about Ronnie James Dio, right? Tell me about some of the other great people that came in, and they were just fantastic to deal with.
Robert Plant.
Okay.
He was great, nice guy.
Solo?
Yeah, it was just him.
Okay.
So Robert Plant.
When are we talking with him? Because I'm a big fan of his solo career.
This was probably 01 or 02, maybe somewhere back in there.
Okay, so that's the Shapeshifters band, I think.
I couldn't tell you, but I remember when he did. The coolest thing about that night was he did Kashmir, but he's into that Eastern music now.
Yeah.
And he changed Kashmir, and it was amazing.
Okay.
What he did with it.
So tell me the interaction you had with him then.
Well, it was pretty short. All I had to do was take him from the venue to the hotel before and after sound check, and then go get him for the show, and then take him back after the show.
Okay.
So I really didn't have it was a slight little conversation. Hi, how are you? And I told him it's nice to meet him, and I said I've been a fan for a long time. And I said it's really nice to meet you, and he was very gracious, nice guy.
Okay. And who else, Wendell?
Widespread Panic.
I don't know them.
They're like a Deadhead band.
Okay.
They have a following. The kids follow them all over the country, just like the Grateful Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And same type of music. They were a lot of fun.
Okay.
I got to watch. Yes, did a short U.S. tour, and they came through, and they started their tour at House of Blues, and they were there the night before. Okay, the night before the show. Now, so I had to be there with them, because I had to take them back to the hotel when they're done and everything. So I had my own private whole entire show, Yes concert, to myself. Because there was nobody there with me.
Rehearsal, and you were there.
They were doing rehearsal the night before, and I was the only one there.
Okay, I have to ask you, because Yes have had a billion lineups. So obviously Chris Squire was in there. Was John Anderson singing?
Yeah, yes, he was.
Okay.
When the show was over, right before they left, John Anderson walked up to me and said, I want to thank you and everything. And when he shook my hand, it was a wadded up, it was money he had in his hand. It was folded up. It was real small. And I didn't look at it. I just, thank you. I appreciate that. I stuck it in my pocket. And they left. And he was the first one to ever give me a tip. And he gave me $100.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the first one that I ever got a tip from. Was John Anderson.
He wasn't the last, was he?
Oh no! But he was the first.
Okay. So tell me if anybody else comes to mind that were great.
Doobie Brothers.
Okay.
They were a lot of fun.
A lot of big names. Some of these guys are big names.
Oh yeah. It's funny, like it's like the older generation, like for stuff that I loved when they came through, they were a lot more mellow than these new guys. Because these new guys just think they're just hot stuff,
You know what, Wendell? I'm glad you bring that up because I'm doing this show 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the bands I hate interviewing, or not that hate's too strong a word, but the bands I look least forward to interviewing are young bands because they have this sense of entitlement that the older bands don't have.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And that goes to being on the road as well. You've experienced that with the younger guys too.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So, any other names? One of the names you brought up in the message you sent me was Black Label Society.
Yeah, they were cool. I got to meet Zach Wild. That was neat talking to him.
Okay.
And because it's weird because really the only reason I want to talk to him is I want to talk to him about Ozzy because I'm a huge Ozzy fan. I mean, I would love to meet him. I've never met a bunch of different people in this band, but never met him.
Okay.
So.
And how long did you get to talk to Zach with?
I don't know, but just a few minutes when they were there.
All right. That's when he was drinking, was it?
Yeah. yeah, it was. But I mean, he didn't get out of control. He was fine.
Right. So, what beer did he want?
Oh, I couldn't say. Oh, here's another little short one too. When Slayer came in,
yeah.
Gary King walked up to me and he asked me. He said, "Next time you go out, would you grab me a bottle of Jaeger?" I said, "Okay, yeah, sure, no problem." So I went to the liquor store, and they had a little special thing going on. It was a little box set. They had the shot glasses, they had the fifth, and the shot glasses, and a T-shirt. So I figured, I get a kick out of this, so I bought that, and I took it upstairs and gave it to the road manager, and he said he'd give it to him. Well, about 5, maybe 10 minutes later, he comes thundering down the stairs, already wearing this T-shirt, got the sleeves ripped off of it, already wearing the shirt, come running up to me and grabs me like a bear hug. Dude, this is so cool, man. Thank you. Like, put me down. It's just a T-shirt, man. Damn. But, I mean, he loved it.
Okay. So, did you get a chance to talk to any of the other Slayer guys?
No, not really. I was kind of busy. That day, so. Okay.
You bring up Slayer, so I'm going to bring up some of the heavier bands. Megadeth.
I've interacted with them twice, actually. Once when Dave was still drinking and he was a jerk.
Dave Mustaine?
Yeah, when the first time I met him, he was still drinking back then. He was a total jerk.
When are we talking?
That had to be, they were out with Queensryche. That had to be, that was before I moved to the beach, so that had to be in like their early 90s.
That, all right, that must count in there.
That was early 90s sometime. But then we had them at House of Blues in 98, and he was totally different. He was totally different person. He came in all smiling, having a good time, and didn't act all pissed off like he did back then.
Okay.
So
98, I'm thinking, right, Marty Friedman's still in the band.
Oh yeah, he was there.
David Ellison, and was Nick Menza gone, or was Jimmy DeGrasso playing drums? Can you remember?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
Okay, all right.
I'm not sure on that one.
So I'll go to the other one of the big four bands, Anthrax.
As a matter of fact, a buddy of mine that used to work with me at House of Blues, he was one of the sound guys. He plays drums, and he is amazing. I mean, absolutely. Derek Roddy is his name. And he just got done doing 2 weeks with Anthrax because their drummer was ill.
Yeah, that's right.
So he ended up sitting in with him for 2 weeks. In fact, he just got home. He lives in Florida somewhere. But he just got home, and I spoke to him just the other day.
Okay.
And he said he had a ball.
Okay. So you would have had probably in the House of Blues a lot of the 80s bands that were doing clubs in the 90s.
Oh, sure.
You mentioned Rat in the 80s. But what big 80s bands did you have going through House of Blues in the 90s?
Sure, we had Judas Priest, we had Slayer a couple times. Let's see, who else? It was every band.
Right, we had. Let's go back to. I have to ask you about Judas Priest. That would have been with Ripper, right? Singing.
Yeah, it was. It was Ripper. Yeah.
Right. So tell me about Judas, because you would have seen the band then, and I thought Ripper was really good with them. Right now, he's not. He wasn't Rob Halford, but he's a fantastic singer, and I like.
Oh, he is.
He did. But
yes,
what
absolutely
interactions did you have with the Priest guys?
Well, I had to take Ripper somewhere. Oh, I know. I had to take him. I had to take him somewhere. It doesn't matter where. But anyway, we were talking, and I asked him. I asked him about the movie. Yeah. And I asked him. I said, "Well, how accurate was that movie?" I said, "Did it really happen like that?" He said, "Well, most of it." I said, "So you really did hang up on him when they called you?" He said, "Yeah, I really did." He said, "Twice," because he thought it was somebody just screwing with him, you know. So he said, "Yeah, I really did hang up on him twice."
Wow.
So, yeah, he was really cool. Nice guy.
What about the other guys? Glenn, KK?
KK was kind of quiet, you know, but the rest of them were really nice.
Right. Because I know KK around that time, especially the second record, he wasn't happy in the band, because I've read his book and I've interviewed him, and he basically threw in the towel back then. He even said it himself. When you look at that second record with Ripper, he's not, you know, it's more or less a Glenn album. Glenn has all the songwriting credits and he produced it. So,
well, see, that's I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. That's one thing that kind of bothered me about them. If you look on back to their records, they have their credits. Okay, they have to have credit for Glenn did this solo in that song, and KK did solo in this song. You know, you got to have your name on there 1,000 times on an album.
Yeah.
Really? You know, I don't get that, but that's what goes along with what you were just saying about him having the credits and all that. But if you look on the back, you'll see. You know, Glenn did solo on this song, and KK did the second solo on this song, and they have their names on there like 1,000 times. And I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So
that's an ego thing to me.
True. So tell me about some of the other 80s bands that came through in the 90s. Iron Maiden? Iron Maiden?
No. I've seen Iron Maiden. I couldn't even count. I mean, they are my favorite metal band, Iron Maiden, and I've met them at least 3 times.
Okay, who have you met in Iron Maiden?
All of them. It was at the old Coliseum in Charlotte, and we were like unofficial stagehands. So we had pretty much all access. So we got to hang out and meet them, and they were great. I couldn't even count how many times I've seen them.
You've probably seen every tour, have you?
Just about, yeah.
Right. What's the first time you saw Iron Maiden?
83, Peace of Mind.
Okay, so you didn't see Diano.
No, well, when I was working at the club in Charlotte in '85. Paul Diano's band came through there and played.
Okay.
But back then I don't think I even spoke to him. I wish I had.
Okay. Did you see Maiden with Blaze Bayley?
I'm sorry?
Did you see Iron Maiden when Blaze Bayley was singing with him?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
You just wouldn't go see him?
Only with Bruce.
Okay.
Oh yeah, only with Bruce.
All right. So what about Accept? Did Accept come through?
You know, I saw them years ago open for somebody, and I'm trying to. It might have been AC/DC maybe that they opened for.
Okay.
I'm not positive on that, but I have seen them, yeah, and I know they're still out playing.
Yeah, it's just Wolf Hoffman though.
I've seen on Facebook that Saxon is still out playing too.
Yeah, they were in Dublin tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I've never seen them, but I love their albums.
You never saw Saxon?
No, I've never seen Saxon.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple of times. I've interviewed Biff over here. Really nice guy.
I remember back in high school. I remember having Denim and Leather on a cassette in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And my car stereo was like just ridiculously loud.
Okay.
And I would go in the parking lot playing Denim and Leather and get yelled at almost every morning. Turn that thing down. But it was them. Yeah, it was them. It was Denim and Leather by Saxon.
What about Scorpions?
I saw them once years ago when I was in high school.
Okay.
I never met them, but now I've seen them.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to think.
One of my favorite shows though was getting to see Paul McCartney.
When was that?
And that was in '94, I think.
Okay.
That was right before I moved to the beach, and we were like in the 8th row, and it was oh wow, you know. So I got to see 3 out of the 4 Beatles, because the Beatles are my favorite band. You know, Iron Maiden's my favorite metal band, but I mean the Beatles are just, you know, to me just they're it. You know, they're the top of the food chain, in my opinion.
Right. So tell me, Wendell, can you think of any other hard rock or metal bands when you're at the beach that came through that I've missed asking you about?
Probably Korn, Slipknot.
Okay, they would have been big they were big then. Yeah, Korn were big in '96, wasn't it?
It may have been.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, because House of Blues opened in May of '97.
Okay, they were still a big band though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so did you get on with the Korn guys at all? Much interaction there?
No, because that's another day I was busy and I really didn't even get a chance to talk to them. No, I didn't really have any interaction with them that day at all.
Okay.
To be honest.
Okay. What about the Slipknot guys?
Yeah, I talked to the lead singer Corey for a couple minutes, you know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, there is. That was an interesting day, and we had Marilyn Manson. Now that was an interesting day because their tour manager comes in and gets us all together, and he goes, "This is the rules of the day," and we're all looking at each other like, "What?" He said, "No one is to speak to Mr. Manson unless Mr. Manson speaks to you first.
Oh.
Do not make eye contact with Mr. Manson unless he makes eye contact with you first." And then it's stupid stuff like that. And then he finally says, "Well, and during sound check, there's to be no one in here but us." He didn't want any of us in the building when they were doing sound check.
Was he being serious?
Yeah, he was serious.
What an asshole.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So
the last one I can get, right? I can understand that, but the not looking at him and not speaking to him unless he speaks to you, I'm like,
please. Yeah, that's a little over the top.
You write songs, you fucking sing songs. You know, you're not better than anybody else in the world. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was there any other artists came in with demands like that? Because I've heard stories like the likes of Bret Michaels and all that have these sort of demands. I'm like, really?
You know, no, I really nothing outrageous. No, there really wasn't. Well, except for I'll tell it. With Marilyn Manson, they get, like I said, they give you a list, right, of stuff that they need, and the guy hands me the list. I leave out there, and I go outside, and I'm getting ready to go and get in the van, and I stop and I look at the list. So, okay, where am I going to decide where I'm going to go first? And right in the middle of the list said vanilla flavored anal cream. And that just stopped me right in my tracks. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Did I read that right? And I'm standing there looking at it, and yeah, I read that right. So I go back in, and I go upstairs, and as I open the door to the production office, as soon as I open up the door and look at the tour manager, he busts out laughing. He knew what it was. He knew why I came back. He starts laughing, and I said, that was a joke, right? He said, yeah, it was a joke. He said, we just do that to make sure the runner actually reads the list.
So that's their version of the brown M&Ms for Van Halen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but that really happened though. Oh boy.
So I'll mention another couple of bands off the top of my head, because I'm thinking these bands probably would have come through the House of Blues in the 90s. What about Dokken?
No, they didn't come. I didn't see them at the house, but I saw them in the 80s several times.
Okay.
No, Dokken never came to the House of Blues.
Okay, Whitesnake?
Whitesnake did. Now that's funny about Whitesnake. I've seen Whitesnake probably 3 or 4 times, but every time I see him, it's Coverdale and a whole new band.
So
or almost a whole new band. You know, somebody will be different every tour.
Okay, so can you remember when the first time you saw Whitesnake in the House of Blues?
Oh, that had
I
to
can
be.
probably name the bands.
That was probably 97, 98, or in the early days.
Okay, so that would have been Adrian Vandenberg and yeah. Did you have much interaction with David Coverdale at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, what about the band members? Because I've interviewed a ton of them, and they're all really nice guys.
No, with them I really didn't. No, because that was in the early days, and I was trying to be all professional and not talk to them and bother them and all that. So, but you could tell, we could tell pretty much the vibe when they come in, whether you can hang out and and talk to them or you just do your gig and leave.
Hmm.
And they're all different.
Was there ever an artist that he just wanted to sit down and talk to someone? Just you sat down, you went in all professional, and before you know it, then you're just having a really good conversation with the guy or the girl.
Yeah, Dio.
Okay.
It would have been Dio. I would have loved to sat and talk to him because he was so down to earth, and he met all of his fans, and he was great. Okay. Such a nice, and one of his roadies told me, he said he remembers people. He says if we come back here next year, he'll remember your name. Yeah,
I've heard that from guys in his band. Have told me the same story. Craig Goldie.
Really?
Yeah, Craig Goldie, the guitar player. I don't know whether he was a guitar player when you were with Ron.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but he told me that's one of the things he tried to pick up from Ronnie, was trying to remember people's names.
Mm-hmm. And another one that stands out is Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
Now, that's a band I forgot to ask you about. I'm glad you brought them up. So tell me about your interaction with Dime.
Oh, he was great. Okay, well, they played, so it was the year before they played the Ozfest, in Charlotte. And I'm standing there, and he threw a guitar pick, and it actually hit me right in the forehead, and somehow, I don't know if it's ninja skills or whatever, but somehow this thing hit me right in the forehead, and I reached up and grabbed it. Now, we're probably, 6, 7, maybe 8 rows back in the crowd,
mm-hmm.
And I'm 5'2". Okay? Do the math. And this is actually, somehow I grabbed it. Now, fast forward, they came to the House of Blues, and it was when Pantera came through, and I was talking to Dime. I was telling him about the guitar pick, and I said, yes, that's the only pick ever. I said, I've been to thousands and thousands of concerts in my day. I said, but that's the only guitar pick I ever caught. And he laughed. He said, not really. It kind of caught you, didn't it? I said, yeah, I guess you're right. It did. So,
did you get a chance to talk to Vinny or Phil?
No,
Rex?
No. But when the highlight for me when Whitesnake came through was because when they had Tommy Aldridge. And he is just wow. Watching him is just amazing.
Yeah.
So,
did you get a chance to see a lot of the band's sound check, or would you be too busy?
Sometimes. Okay. I mean, if it was a band I was into, I'd probably hang around and watch.
Okay. Because what I found, and I've been at a couple of sound checks, is they'll play a couple of songs that they mightn't actually play in the set.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've experienced that they'll dig up this old song just to mess around with it and at sound check.
Well, let me tell you this. We had Styx. Okay?
Yeah.
And they were doing sound check, and they had the set list taped to the side of the wall. I was over backstage. I was by the monitors and the monitor board, and they had the set list taped to the wall right there. So I'm standing there looking at it, and just finished sound check. And my favorite song by Styx is Snowblind, and it wasn't on the set list. And out loud, I said to myself, "Damn, it's not there." And the bass player, and I can't remember his name, was coming down the little steps right off of the stage and walked by me and heard me say that. He said, "What song are you looking for?" I said, "Snowblind." And he goes, "Oh, wow." He said, "We haven't played that in a long time." He said, "Maybe we'll throw that in tonight." And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right, sure you will. Whatever. yeah, right, sure you will. But sure enough, they played it. And I was standing in the same spot during the show watching, and he looked over and pointed at me. He's like, hey, that's for you. I was like, yeah.
See, Wendell, there's a lot of bands that can't do that because they haven't fucking rehearsed the songs. They're not good enough to just pull off something like that. There's a lot of bands, some bands can and some bands can't.
Well, you were talking about sound checks. The one sound check that stands out was John Legend when he came. That man is a perfectionist. They were working on one brand new song, and I swear they worked on this song for probably 2 hours, trying to get this right and that right. And the man was he was a nice guy, very professional, but he is a perfectionist.
Okay.
But you know, when you do stuff like that, it shows for the audience. You know, that's for them.
So did you have Quiet Riot come through at all?
Yes, we did.
Okay, was that Kevin DeBro singing then?
Yes, it was. Now I saw the Mental Health tour back when I was in high school. That was probably, I think they opened for it might have been Iron Maiden.
Okay.
It might have been. But the mask that he wore on the album cover, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, they sold that at the merch stand, little plastic, little wraparound, you know, mask with a rubber band around the back. So I bought one, and it hung on my wall. This thing hung on my wall every bedroom, everywhere I ever lived up until we worked at House of Blues, and I found out they were coming, so I took it to work that day. And Kevin DeBrow was just, where did you get this? Where did you find that? And I told him I had it since that night.
Okay.
And all four of them signed it.
Nice. Did you get a chance to talk to Frankie Vinali much?
I did. Yeah, he was nice. I mostly talked to Rudy.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Rudy in I don't know how many different bands.
Yeah. He's got a new band every week.
I mean, I met him several times. He'd come with somebody else. Or back in the day, I'd go to a concert and he's playing with them. Oh, he's playing with them now. Did David Lee Roth ever come through solo? Yes, he did. I had big fun. He was so cool. What a nice guy. I was expecting him to be a rock star, you know, because of the way he is on his interviews and all that. But he wasn't at all. He was so cool. What a nice guy.
Would you think he's a perfectionist as well?
He was, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, because there was some things in his book about the stage that he always checks it out, and you know, you probably would have seen some of that firsthand.
Yeah, I asked him. there was an old story floating around about their road crew having a football helmet with bicycle handlebars on top.
Okay.
Okay, think about that for just a minute.
Yeah.
And when Dave came, I asked him about that. I said, did they really have a... He said, yeah, they really did. He said, yeah, they really did.
Wow.
So...
Did Wasp ever come through?
No, we never had Wasp at the house, but I saw them years ago, too. I'd love to see them again.
Okay. I'm going through my discography in my head here. Y&T.
No, not them. I've never even seen them.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Queensryche you mentioned, right?
I've seen Queensryche several times. I saw them on the Mindcrime tour, and it was awesome. Great show. And then we had them at House of Blues when they were doing like the split, when they did the split.
Mm-hmm.
And he came and did a bunch of Mindcrime, and what was the one right after Mindcrime? I'm trying to think. Empire. He did mostly both of those.
Okay.
But the thing about him was, you know, listen to him on the album, you think, oh my God, this can sing, you know. But a lot of people think, oh yeah, but you can make anybody sound good in the studio. Well, he sounded just as good live as he did in the studio. Yeah,
he's a fantastic singer.
Absolutely. But there's one person that I would absolutely sell everything I own to go see, and that's Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
I have never seen Stevie Wonder, and that would be the ultimate for me.
Okay. Does he still do shows? I don't think he does.
I don't know. Probably not. But that would be, to me, that would be it.
Okay. Right.
I have 3 older brothers, you know, and I got my music, you know, taste from them, and they grew up in the, you know, early 60s.
Okay.
So
I'll just throw another couple of bands at you. Tesla.
I saw Tesla with opening for Def Leppard, the tour after Rick Allen got hurt when they finally came back. and toured again. In fact, they ran it around. This was in Raleigh, North Carolina. And yeah, they opened for Def Leppard. The whole stage was in the round. The whole stage is spun.
Okay. What about the Black Crowes?
We had the Black Crowes in Charlotte. I mean, not in Charlotte. At the at House of Blues.
Okay.
We did. I didn't have much interaction with them, but that was a busy day. Busy day. I was back and forth shopping and getting this and getting that. A lot of times, see, well, when the bands start their tour, they don't have much of anything. But at the end of the tour, they're done. They don't need anything. It's an easy day for me. So I loved it when the bands would come in at the end of their tour, because it's much easier for me.
Okay. Michael Schenker.
No, never seen him.
Never seen Schenker?
No, I've never seen Michael Schenker.
Okay.
I'd love to see Michael Schenker group, but I never have.
Okay, I'm trying to think of other bands. Cinderella.
Oh, back in the day, several times. We even had them in the club I worked in Charlotte.
Okay.
I did. Mm-hmm.
Much interaction with them?
No, not really, other than driving them back and forth. But nothing. They kind of kept to themselves.
Okay. So I'm going to swing it now to fans, overzealous fans. I'm sure you've had stories dealing with fans that'll do anything to get near the band.
No, well, see, that was mostly security that dealt with stuff like that, not me.
But you would have seen some.
Well, there was. Well, no, not really. There was one night when I was taking Robert Plant back to the hotel after the show. I was trying to work up my nerve. I wanted to get a picture with him off my phone, but I'm still trying to. I don't want to ask him that and sound all goofy, and And I'm sitting there, and I've been thinking about it for half the day, and finally I work up my nerve to ask him, and just as we stop at the front of the hotel, I turned my head to ask him, and some idiot comes running up. Oh my God, you're Robert Plant! Oh my God! Oh my God! So I had to hey dude, back off. That was interesting, but it ruined my chance to get a picture with him because I didn't want to do it. I wasn't going to ask him after that.
Yeah. Probably the best place to do it would be at the venue, where it's controlled. Right.
Well, like I said, we weren't allowed to ask for autographs or pictures or anything like that. So
you weren't allowed. You were actually told.
No, we had to sign a confidentiality agreement that anything we saw or heard there stayed there.
Okay.
So because in the first season we had movie stars, celebrities. I literally bumped into George Lucas.
Okay.
And I was stunned. I was like, excuse me. I just kind of walked off. And I'm thinking, that was George freaking Lucas I just bumped into. Oops. But I do miss that place. I miss the whole business. I really do.
Okay. What do you miss the most about it? Or no, before you answer that question, what's the thing that oh, Jesus Christ, I don't want to deal with that ever again?
When bands would have laundry to do. that was the pain, because I let it be known right off the bat, I will not personally wash anybody's clothes. That's not going to happen. I don't care who you are. I'm not doing it. So, but after searching, I finally found a little tiny place in town that did same day. They call it wash and fold. Okay. And, you take it in there, they'll do it and, wash it up and everything, you fold it up and you come back and pick it up. Well, I finally got a place to do it. And that made life easier after that.
There must have been something that the band asked and you just said no.
Yeah, there was. Somebody asked for a vial of frog juice. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I don't know if you ever heard about it, but somewhere out in the West in America, they discovered that a certain breed of toad, if you lick it, it secretes this stuff, and it's just like LSD, like acid, and you trip off of it. And apparently, somebody figured out how to process this stuff into a liquid form and sell it. They called it frog juice. And I'm like, give me a little time. I can probably find anything you need, but that's not going to happen. No clue where to even begin to look for that. That ain't happening.
Didn't have it on Amazon, no?
Yeah, it's not on Amazon. Maybe on the dark web somewhere, maybe, but no.
So what do you miss the most about it then?
Just being around the music, it's just the whole vibe that was there back then.
Okay.
It's just something I always wanted to do, and there was no option B for me. Like I got accepted to East Tennessee State University, but that summer I left and I was going out doing basically like a free internship with 38 Special, learning this and learning that. So I turned down a college education to go on the road. And needless to say, my parents were not pleased with that decision. But that's what I was going to do, and I made up my mind, and that was it. There was no option B. I'm going to be in the music business, period. So, but I've actually sat down and started writing my book.
But you see, the one thing I'd say to that, and I've been doing the show for a while now, so I've got to interview a lot of these people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is actually meet them, because they can ruin the impression you have of them.
I agree. Yeah, and that's happened to me. Yeah.
Right. Can you think of anyone that I was just going to ask you, can you name a couple of names where that's happened?
To where it was a negative thing?
Yeah, because you would have, revered might be too strong a word maybe, but you really admired this musician, and he was just, I'm not talking now about Eddie Van Halen or Joe Satriani, maybe you've someone else that you hold more in high regard that ruined your impression of him.
To be honest, it was Eddie Van Halen.
It was just Eddie, yeah?
It was Eddie, because I've seen him so many times, and he was just totally obnoxious. But the reverse of that I've seen, where I was expecting people to be, rock stars that weren't. And there was much more of that.
Okay.
Like, for example, Slash. When he came in with Velvet Revolver, for some reason I had it in my head, Slash is going to be an obnoxious rock star. And he was so down to earth, he was so cool. And I actually had a picture with him on my cell phone, which I wasn't supposed to do. But, But anyway, the statute of limitations, that's all over with by now, so I'm not worried about it.
Right, you brought up Velvet Revolver. I have to ask you about Scott Weiland.
I really didn't have much interaction with him personally, but I was told by their road manager, he pulled me aside, pulled me in the office, and he said, I don't care what he asks you for. You come and tell me first. He said, if he asks you for a pencil, you come and tell me first before you get it. You get him nothing. And that's when they were trying to, dry him out.
Yeah.
So
he was on a short leash, a very short leash.
A very, very short leash. Yeah, yes, he was. Because he was very emphatic about that. You get him nothing without telling me first. Okay. Okay. Okay.
What about Duff McKagan?
Nice guy, very nice guy.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, very smart guy.
He seemed to be. He was talking to a couple girls, and just his vibe. He seemed like he was just a very, very intelligent guy.
Mm-hmm. So Wendell, any bands am I missing? I've talked about a lot.
Oh, good Lord. I'm trying to think of, anything that really stands out. We had the Deftones, and for the very first time, they'd never been there, and it was Chi, the guy that asked for the vegetable steamer.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, when I came through the door, I came through one door, and my boss came to the other side from another door into their production office, right? Mm-hmm. At the same time, and a couple of band members were already up there, and she looked at me, and he said, thank God you're here, we'll get something done today. I'm like, huh? They'd never been there. But I guess they heard something about me. But that's what he said. That's what he said. But he said it right in front of my boss. That was the best part.
Nice.
Made me look real good,
Did you ever have Yngwie Malmsteen there?
No, I've never even seen Malmsteen live. I would love to, though.
Okay. Steve Vai?
Steve Vai was there, yeah, he was.
Okay, down to earth?
Sorry?
He's a real down to earth guy, is he?
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was. He walked out back and signed a bunch of autographs and everything.
Okay.
Here's something. Here's another cool thing I saw. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. He had that side band, Rat Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to House of Blues. Now the show was over, and everybody was leaving. I was in my car. The band bus was pulling out of the parking lot, and I was just happening behind it, And right at the corner, there was a man and a woman and a little girl was probably about 10, 12 years old. They're standing there and they're holding up a sign, and they're waving at the bus. Okay, and I'm right behind the bus now. The bus stops. Bob Weir gets off the bus, goes over to these people, meets these people, shakes their hand, hugs them, and takes a couple pictures. And I'm watching him sign this stuff, and he's talking to him for a good 10 minutes. And then he gets back on the bus, and they leave. Now, I mean, that's a class act in my book.
Yeah.
To do something like that. He stopped the bus to meet those people. That's a class act in my book to do that.
Wendell, when did you really see the paid meet and greet start for you? Because you would have had to you're dealing with the bands, like you're the liaison, and then all of a sudden this meet and greet starts showing up on the itinerary.
I don't understand what you mean on that one.
Right.
Meet and greet.
Yeah, because a lot of bands years ago, there was no meet and greet, like as a charter.
Oh, okay, I see
right?
what you mean. Yeah.
So now there's like the paid meet and greets where, you pay to meet the band, you pay to have a picture, you pay to have a sound check. Was there any of that in Myrtle Beach in the beginning where it started showing up on your itinerary that the band had to be at the venue at a certain time for this paid meet and greet?
No, not for a paid meet and greet. No, that never happened. No, I've never even heard of that until you said that.
So
I didn't know that existed.
That's more of a recent thing. When you were in Myrtle Beach, it wasn't really something that was.
No, I never saw that. Never happened. No.
Okay. So, is there any other artist other than the guy you just mentioned and Ronnie that went above and beyond to meet their fans?
B.B. King.
Okay.
B.B. King, he did his meet and greet after the show on his bus. What he would do, he would have the people would line up and they would go through and they would meet him, take a picture, and they would go out and go around and leave the bus. And it was just almost like a production line. But he was another one that was very laid back. I mean, it's just a very, very nice band. He was like somebody's grandpa.
Nice.
He was very, very cool. And
I'm going to flip it and say the artist that had people waiting outside and just blew them all off, walked right past them.
Okay, yeah, Billy Idol. Well, not him, but okay. Billy Idol played that, and he comes out and he meets everybody. And but it was funny when he came in the door. His accent is so thick. He came in the door and he looked at me and he said something to me, and I have no clue what it was that he said. He was smiling when he said it, but he's got that real thick, I guess they call it Cockney accent.
Yeah, the English accent, yeah.
And it's very thick, and I have no clue what he said to me. But later on that night, after the show was over, he goes out and he's signing autographs, and Steve Stevens was playing guitar with him at the time.
Yeah.
And the people were out there chanting his name, trying to get him to come off the bus to meet the fans. He wouldn't come off the bus. He did not come off the bus.
Wow.
For what I have no idea why. I can't say. But they were out there. There was probably a couple hundred people out there chanting his name, trying to get him to come out. He would not come out of the bus. For whatever reason, I don't know. Like I said, I can't say, but he didn't do it.
They don't have to, but even stick your head out the bus and wave or something. I don't know. Maybe
sure. You have to remember where you came from.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, we had who was it? I gave the kids the guitar picks. Anyway, there was a band that came through, and when I saw the show was over, I was going in my car and I saw these three teenagers, and it just gave me a flashback of when that was me, standing there across that line, waiting to get autographs or whatever, And I walked over and I gave each one of them a guitar pick that I'd found, and they acted like I gave them a gold nugget. Oh, it was cool to do that, Because I remember when that was done for me.
Okay, so who else was a jerk? Walk right past the fans.
Oh, let's see.
I'm more interested in this now than the guys that were nice. Sometimes.
Well, like I said, I really didn't experience a lot of that. There really wasn't a whole lot of where they
Wow.
It was 2 hours after the show was scheduled to be over. He showed up.
And was how?
And the place was packed. We were sold out. I mean, you couldn't move in there. It was packed.
How was he still allowed to do the show? There must have been a curfew or something, no?
Well, yeah. Well, our promoter finally went on the bus and had a little talk with him.
Oh, hang on a second. So he was at the venue and wouldn't come out to play the show.
Well, he wasn't even there. He arrived 2 hours late, and then he's sitting on the bus. So everybody's waiting on him to come off the bus. What's going on? And so finally the promoter went on the bus, and I don't know what was said. I wasn't there. But, you know, he came out and he did the show.
What is wrong with some of these people? You know, it's like
I said,
you have a contract.
You have to remember where you came from. Yeah, exactly right.
Play. Get out and play the show, and whatever mood you're in, you can fucking take it out on somebody at the end of the show.
Yeah, and you know, and I saw something else that's kind of changed the direction. But I saw something on Facebook the other day, and there was a debate about venues charging percentages for merch.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, back in my day, that was a common thing. That was standard. You know, it was, you know, the house gets a cut. And somehow there's a lot of people that are just really upset about that now for some reason, thinking it's not right.
Yeah, but
I mean, I see no problem with it. That was standard procedure in my day. Yeah,
but you have to bear in mind another thing that people seem to think that the bands decide where they're going to play, because you see it all the time on social media when a band announces tour dates. Why aren't you playing my city? Why aren't you playing my city? And my take on this all the time is, it's not the band's fault. Contact the promoter. The promoter books them to play there.
Exactly right.
You know, but some people seem to think the bands decide where they're going to go. It's like, not really.
Well, no, it's not up to them at all. No.
Yeah.
But touring it's a grueling thing. I mean, I miss it, but it's a grueling life. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. So, what's the earliest start you ever had with any artist?
I think that might have been the Beach Boys. Actually, they were there at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was a busy day. But it was fun, you know, because considering who was, I loved it. You know, it didn't bother me. I was busy and I loved it because of, you know, who it was. So,
what's the longest day you pulled?
We had a rap show, and I couldn't tell you a single one of them. There was like 5 different groups that came, and I was on the clock for like 21 hours, running them around and doing this and doing that, and yeah, it was interesting.
I hope you got a tip.
From them, no.
Oh no.
No, not from them. But I did the best tip I ever got. And I'm not going to say who it was, but the tour manager tipped me $100, and then he told me, he said, "Now go over and talk to the band. They want to, you know, say goodbye before you take off." So cool, all right. So I went over to where, you know, their dressing room, was talking to them, and right before I left, one of them hands me an envelope. So here, this is for us. I said, "Oh man, you don't have to do that." I said, "I already talked to the tour manager." He said, "No. He said, this is from us." So I, okay, cool. I stuck it in my pocket. I didn't look at it until I left. I got in the car and opened it up, and the tour manager gave me $100, and the band gave me $500.
Holy shit!
And that's exactly what I said. Holy shit! I didn't tell anybody about that for a while.
But the thing with that, you remember that shit. So when the band comes back, and they might ask you for something, you might go a little bit over and beyond to get it.
Oh, absolutely.
If a musician treats you like dirt,
you get nothing. Because if you come back, you get nothing.
Yeah, and I'd say the word gets around as well. Because there must have been musicians that came to you that you'd never met, that you were thinking, "Oh fuck, I've heard stories about this guy." Yeah,
an example was David Lee Roth, because I was expecting him to be a complete asshole, you know, and it just shocked me that he was so down to earth and so cool.
Okay. So you think of any other stories, Wendell, before I leave you go?
Oh Lord, I'll probably think of 10 of them after I hang up. But oh Lord. But anyway, no, I really can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But it was 10 years that I loved. There was times where I was sitting backstage and thinking to myself, look what you're getting paid to do. You're getting paid to hang out with rock stars. Basically, that's what I did.
There must have been times where you wanted to see the band play and you couldn't. That must have been one of the drawbacks of doing the job you did.
That's true. One of that, I can tell you real quick an example. That was Joe Cocker when he came.
Okay.
I wanted to hear him sing "You Are So Beautiful." That's the one song I wanted to see him sing, and I didn't get back. I had to go do something. I didn't get back in time. He just finishing the last little bit of it as I walked through the back door. I was pissed.
Hey, you got to be professional.
Yeah. Oh man. Yep. So.
Yeah,
I wasn't happy about that. I missed that one song.
Okay. Well, Wendell, listen, it's been a ball. Thanks for reaching out to me.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you did. I hope I talk to you again.
Yeah, you will. When I don't know when you're going to finish the book, although I've probably told a lot of stories to me.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff I'm trying to decide if I can actually tell or not without getting sued.
You know what? I've had guys on. Like I had there's a promoter called Danny Zalisco in Arizona, I think he is, and he's a big name out there, and he was on the phone with me for over 2 hours talking to me, right? And it's the longest interview I'd ever done, and I even had to tell him, like, because I called him at 9 Eastern, and out there it's like 6 or 7 Eastern, and I had to tell him at like 11:30. I said, Danny, I have to go to work the next day at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And I was like, oh shit! But he brought out a book, and that's one of the questions I remember asking him. And he when I asked him, he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, surely there's certain things that happen that you just can't tell, because you'll have to lawyer up. And he's like that's a really good question. And I've had artists on as well who brought out memoirs, and I asked them that question a lot. And they have to be very careful in the way they phrase stuff, or they might put something in negative about an artist. And once it's in print, you can't take it back. So
that's right.
You got to be really careful with what stories you put in.
That's exactly what I'm struggling with, and because I'm trying to make it a positive thing. I'm trying not to leave out the negative stuff. I might put a little bit. I might do one chapter of the bad days. Or something, but the rest of it's all going to be positive stuff that happened.
You see, I'm the guy that when it comes to books, I like the warts and all because it's real. Like I don't like the sugar coated. Everything is great. All the band members, we all got along great, and it's all bullshit, or a lot of it is bullshit.
Right.
And the other thing,
mine won't be. Mine won't be. Mine won't be. Everything in my book's going to be true.
You see, the thing with talking to guys like you is I can talk to the musicians, but I always try and branch out a little bit and talk to producers, talk to people who worked on the other side in the business, because they always have a very unique perspective on a lot of these things.
Yeah,
and you've told us some stories now that I'm not saying they're going to change my opinion on certain artists, but some of them did surprise me.
I was out briefly doing merch with an artist, and they got invited to take a tour of one of the studios in New York, in New York City, and I got to go with them. And I'm standing there, and through the door at the end of the hallway walks this older man, dressed very distinguished, white hair, very nice, bigger guy. And I looked at him, and my heart almost stopped when I realized who it was. It was George Martin.
Wow.
I mean, I was just like, oh my! Cause I'm a huge Beatles fan. I guess I had 3 older brothers. I knew every word, every Beatles song by the time I was 6 years old. Okay. I had no choice. But anyway, that's the early days when I was doing sound too. So, and I remember he's coming toward us, and I remember thinking to myself, please God, please, don't let me say something stupid to this man. Please don't let me say something stupid to this man. And I told him, who it was. I said, I'm early days, run sound, I'm learning, and I said, if I could learn half of what you've forgotten, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah. And
he was like, and that's the most intelligent thing I could think of to come out of my mouth, And he was like, oh, that's very nice, Ben, young man, thank you. And, so after that, the whole trip meant nothing. I met George Martin.
Yeah.
After that, I couldn't care less what happened after that.
Okay. Oh, one final question. You bring up the sound engineer thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do sound for a band and one of the fucking band members went mad with you about something you did?
Oh, that happened all the time. That's common practice. I mean, that could be anybody. Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I mean, nobody huge, nobody big like that, no. But, I mean, with bar bands, yeah, that happens all the time.
Okay. What in particular do they want, though? Is there one particular thing? Is it like, I'm not loud enough, or?
Well, yeah. For example, I worked with one band that had 2 guitar players, and and that was a battle sometimes with them. Well, I can't hear me. I can't hear me. Yeah. That happened quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard a few stories about bands and sound engineers, because a lot of the bands now, like the bands that were big in the 80s, they'll go out on tour now, but they don't bring their own sound guy with them. So
right.
you got to rely on the in-house guy.
Right.
And
that's a crapshoot. I mean, that's a gamble doing that. It might be good, it might not be.
Yeah, and so they'll give demands to the sound guy saying, here's what levels I want. Mm-hmm. And the guy might just say, well, I'm the fucking in-house engineer here. I know what's best. And
my house, my rules.
and they really fucking piss off the artists.
Yeah.
I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, well, I've never really dealt with that personally. No, not myself, no.
Okay, you've probably seen it, though.
I've seen yelling and this and that. I can't hear this, I can't hear that. But like I said, that's so common. I mean, nobody pays any attention to it.
Okay. All right, Wendell, I'm going to leave you go.
All right.
It's been a lot of fun. This will probably be up in the next couple of weeks, and I'll let you know when it's up.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know. I appreciate it. I had a ball. I had a good time. I'm glad you're from my own heritage. I mean, I wish you could see my tattoos. My whole left arm is all Celtic art.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Well, Wendell, it's been a pleasure. Have a good weekend.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Okay.
Take care. All right, now. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you go, Wendell Smith. And, as you heard in the interview, too, there looks like there could be a book on the horizon. And if we do hear about that, I think Wendell will probably reach out to Richie, let him know. Maybe we have him back on to help him with that. But at least we'd let you guys know, hey, Wendell's got a book out. You can get it here, and keep you tuned in on that. But I think next week, or whatever, next time we're on, I think we're looking at Maiden. Yet another spot of it. Yeah,
we are doing a chunk of Maiden albums that are very polarizing.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that one's going to be a downer one. But yeah. But anyways, for this week, that's it. There ain't nothing more. Stick a fork in it. This puppy is done. So for myself and
me,
have yourselves a great metal week. And until we talk to you again next time, as always, remember,
focus on metal.
Everything else is insignificant.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.